Do you got like 5 minutes for an interview? 5 minutes? I'm interviewing like random people about how they got to their God belief. I'll time it for 5 minutes. Cool. Yeah. Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Anthony.
Miriam.
Miriam?
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell it?
Miriam.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Yeah, let me just show the schedule for you. I think it is. What I'm doing is just interviewing random people about how they got to their God belief, like Hindus or Muslims or Christians, and trying to get a sense of the strength of their belief. So like, if 0% is I have zero confidence that my belief is true, and 100% is I'm 100% confident that my belief is true, where would they be on that scale? And where would you put yourself on that scale?
I'm 100% sure.
Dang, you're 100% confident.
In God, yes.
And is it the Christian God?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Why, wow?
Well, it's very, very high. It's not unusual. A lot of people do say that. Have you ever thought about what has brought you so high on the confidence of the belief?
Yes. Well, I've been in very bad situations, near death in some.
Oh my.
And he helps me out. He's always there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
When you've had these very terrible experiences and you've recovered from them, why did you assign the responsibility of getting better to the Christian God and maybe not some other God?
I read the Bible for one,
Okay.
and I just don't believe in any other God. There's only one God, and I don't know, I just believe in Him.
Is there some reason why you didn't pick Allah, for example, or Buddha?
Well, I was raised on Him.
Okay.
I was raised on Him.
Okay.
And just the main thing is, of course, the commandments. You're not supposed to believe in or worship in anybody else.
Okay.
Any other idol. So, no, I don't believe in them at
So
all.
if I could paraphrase, the doctrine that you were exposed to when you were young says don't worship any other gods.
Yes.
And as a result of that, is that a large reason why you lean more towards the Christian God?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've talked to a lot of people on this campus and elsewhere that believe in other gods. Like, I talked to this Muslim woman that believes in Allah. She's convinced, 100% convinced, that her belief in Allah is true. She was raised with it, she was exposed to it, she sees Allah working in her life. The story that you told me is very sincere and very honest, and I truly appreciate that. However, there's a lot of similarities to stories that I hear about other people that believe in different gods. Is there a way that a person might go about figuring out which of the two of you might be more correct in the confidence of their belief? Even though I completely agree that everyone should have the right to believe in what they want. You might agree with that.
Yes.
But how would a person figure out who might be more correct of the two?
Allah, is He who they say is God, but in a different life?
I don't really know too much about the doctrine, but if we were to have her standing here, I would imagine that she'd probably be able to just, explain it to us. But she would be 100% confident that the belief is true, that Allah is the one true God, and that you might be perhaps following the incorrect God. Would you feel the same way about her? Do you think that in this situation one would have to be one more correct than the other?
Well, something I'm correct. Well, I am. It's just, there's just one God. There's one Bible. It's the Holy Bible. He Himself says, do not believe in other gods. There's other fake gods that will come in and pretend to be who He is. But I just have faith in Him. It's just one God, and that's Jesus, who comes in the form of three: the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God Himself. But that's really it. It's just God.
So you mentioned faith. We have like less than a minute. And we can go long if you want, but if you want to bolt, that's completely fine too. You mentioned that the belief is a large result of being raised in it, and then you also mentioned faith.
I as far as me being raised in it, I wasn't really like, we're going to church every day, no. But
Yeah.
he was, they did let me know who he was. I found him on my own. My family grew up separated, and I grew up in a very, very bad place. And on my own, he came to me, and I knew it was him. It's not Allah or any other God that they say is out there.
How do you know, though? How do you know, Miriam, that it's Jesus, that it's this Christian God, and it's not some other God? How would you say that you know it?
I want to say it's the Holy Spirit. It's just faith. It's all faith, and I can feel it.
It's faith. Do you have a few minutes to discuss faith? Are you running off to something?
Like 3 more minutes.
Okay, we'll do 3 more minutes. Do you have a definition of faith? Since you're using faith to be so sure that the God is real and works in your life, how are you using the word?
Faith. It is in your heart. You believe in him, and you know he is real. And when you believe and you have no doubts about it, he's there for you, and he helps you, and he puts you sometimes in bad positions, but he makes you feel secure. He's going to take care of you no matter what you've been through. He helps you forgive. He helps you everything.
If that Muslim woman just believed in your God and used faith to conclude that it was your God that was real and not hers, would that be enough for her? Is faith all you need?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Do you have a working definition of it? I know that you said you feel faith in your heart. Is there a definition that you're using for it, or how would you describe it? If you were to write out a word or a sentence that might explain what faith is to somebody.
Believing and knowing something that is not there in person, and
Okay.
knowing that if you really believe in it and you go to him, he will be there for you.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good. Believing in something that's not there.
Yes. From
Is
your
that
heart.
from your heart? Just
Yeah.
really, really believing in it that it's there would be faith.
Yes.
Do you use faith, Miriam, for things other than the God belief or the religious belief? Do you use it on a daily basis?
Well, I use him on a daily basis. So through him, I use faith for everything.
Okay. I want to make sure that I don't confuse faith with maybe Jesus. Well, I'm more focused in the process of faith, like believing in something that you can't see strongly enough, which was your definition of it. Like, as you're walking from here to the car, I assume or a bus or whatever, will you use faith in any aspect of the next 5 minutes, for example?
No. To get me there safely?
Just in your normal day-to-day activity, are you using this method of just believing in something that you can't see?
No. If something bad is going to happen, or if I need him to be there for me, I have faith that he will help me. But as far as me walking into my car, there's really no faith, because anything can happen to me.
Okay.
And I don't think that, I see where you're going with this. That's my faith to say if I were to get hit by a car on the way over there?
No, no. I mean, you can take this conversation anywhere you go. I'm not trying to like force you down a rabbit hole or anything. So, whatever your definition of faith is, which you said was believing strongly in something even though you can't see it. I'm a little bit more curious to see if you use that method for other things in your life, like who you can rely on, I don't know, a family member, or to make a big decision in life. What you're coming here to school, you're probably studying something. Will you use faith to help you in your job search and get a career?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you use it in any other aspect of your life besides deciding to believe that this is the right God to follow?
I don't think so, because for one, your story's written out. If you follow him and do right, things will go right. But if I go the wrong path, then things are going to happen to me because I went down the wrong path. But it's not really faith that I'm basing everything on. No, it's
Okay.
just with him.
Okay.
Things will happen no matter what, good or
Yeah.
bad.
So are you saying that, just so I understand, you're pretty much using faith only to conclude that the God is real? Even though you can't see him, you need faith to arrive at the conclusion that Jesus is the right God. Is that a fair statement, or am I off on that?
I need faith to believe that he is real.
You don't need faith?
Well, you do need faith. It's kind of hard now. You do need faith. You get it through him, though.
Okay. He gives you faith to conclude that he's real and he exists. Is that it?
Yeah.
Have you ever... It's been more than 3 minutes, so if you want to go.
It's pretty cool. I'm bad at explaining myself, by the way.
No, you're awesome. You're doing great. Can I ask you just like one more question? If you had another method of concluding that Jesus really did exist and was real and was working in your life, and you can use something other than faith, which is believing in something that you can't see but because you feel it, would you choose the other option?
I don't know if any other option could be.
Can I propose one?
Yes.
Let's say that there's a demonstrable explanation of Jesus and this God existing. And we can do some sort of test or something. I don't know what that might be. But if we had the ability to run a test and conclude that Jesus existed, or if we could only go off of faith, which is just believing that he's there because it makes us feel like he's there, which of the two would you prefer?
If I can visually see a test and see that he's there,
Or use faith?
or use faith. Well, see, it's hard because I've been through things where he shows me that he's there, but at the end it all goes through faith.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, of course, if there was a test and he could prove to me there, and like back in the days how they say God would walk through here and create miracles, I would love to see that. But he doesn't have to be here in his presence for me to see the miracles he does on a daily basis.
Okay. You're okay believing in God using faith alone?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't use the technique, I'm kind of summarizing, but you don't use the technique for anything other than concluding that the God is real?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
Things will happen no matter what, and could be or could not be faith. No.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
Things will happen no matter what. Some people will say, that was faith, that was your faith, that you were supposed to just say get hit by a bus or something. That's not really
Well,
faith.
I don't mean fate. I'm not talking about fate, like you're destined to get hit by a bus when you walk across the street. I'm talking like, that's what we're talking about, right? Faith?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like, well, I guess what I'm really struggling to understand is if you're using faith to conclude that the God is real, which is it's probably the most important decision that you make in your life, and you're using faith, just believing on it because you can't see it, I'm finding myself wondering why you're not using it for other important aspects of your life. Like, just assuming that that person over there might be the next person that you marry and he's going to be trustworthy or something like that. Like just going on faith and just believing in it even though you can't see it.
No, because I don't know their actions or... it's not faith. That's not faith, because anything can happen. They can be a test from the devil, or the devil sending them to be there. And if I just go and think that that is faith, that could be being wrong.
That's actually a really good. That's a good point, actually. Like, I can't help but wonder if there's nothing that I can use faith to conclude is real. Like, I could probably use faith to conclude that Allah is real. I could probably use faith to conclude that Zeus is real. Would you agree with that? That faith could be used for multiple?
God.
I mean, I've literally talked to Muslims that say that you need faith to conclude that Allah is real. I'm hearing you say that you need faith to conclude that Jesus is real.
You don't need it to conclude that he's real. He's real no matter what. You just need faith to help you to believe in him, to believe that he's there and he can create miracles. He's there. I don't need to feel faith to know that he's real.
You don't need faith?
To believe that he's real? No. I believed he was real before I learned what faith is. I've always believed in him. I just didn't, I guess, I didn't know how powerful he was until I gave my faith to him and put my faith in him.
Okay.
And then you start seeing his miracles happen on me.
I guess maybe as a takeaway, and I know you have to get going, and I really appreciate your time. Maybe as just a takeaway, you can think about maybe the reliability of faith. Like, I know it sounds like you're saying you didn't need faith originally to conclude, but just as we were talking, you had mentioned how important faith is. I think you even said faith was everything.
It is. But I didn't need it to know that he was real. I've always known he was real. But once I started studying the Bible, getting into it, and then he actually just taught me about faith about 2 weeks ago. For the longest time, I had doubts. I didn't really understand how powerful he was, even though I knew he was real. And as I started reading the Bible, he showed me what faith really is. And you can't have any doubts. You have to believe in him and believe he will be there for you. And he makes miracles happen when you give him everything.
Just believing in something strong enough and dedicating yourself.
And reading the Bible.
And reading the Bible, reading the book. Does dedicating yourself to believing that, having faith to conclude that Jesus is real and works in your life, is it a reliable method for arriving at something to conclude that it's true or not? Just giving yourself over to a belief, even though it might not be demonstrable in some way.
Well, you see, sometimes some people don't have faith, and he still creates miracles to show you that he's real.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily need faith. He's there no matter what. He will show you his miracles no matter what.
Okay.
But once you give him faith, it just grows stronger, and he's there for you.
Okay.
Faith helps you get closer to him. And if you don't have any doubts in him, he will be there for you. He'll create miracles, and he will help you.
Is it fair to say that the more faith you use with the God, the stronger the belief?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. What might you say to that Muslim woman, that hypothetical Muslim woman that is using faith to conclude that Allah is real, and she's 100% confident in her belief, and she uses faith to come to that conclusion, but she's arriving at a completely different God than you?
Where did she
go? Where did she go wrong?
Bibles? Do they?
They have the Torah. Not the Torah. Sorry, the Quran. They use the Quran, and I imagine she could probably point to lots of stories that talk about Muhammad, the prophet. Just believing in Allah, and the more that you use faith, the stronger the confidence that your belief is actually true. It would be very difficult for me to differentiate between that woman and you, and you'd both be using faith.
Right. I just think the Bible is the one way to go. Every other book is just made by some random people. It's not the right way. It's not God. Okay. There's only one God.
I will probably be out here again next week, and if you feel comfortable and you want to continue the conversation, I would love to keep talking with you about it. But I know your time is valuable, and you spent so much time with me, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was great. Did you enjoy the conversation too?
I did.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.